That $68,000 van? One city rule change, and you can't live in it or sell it. Here's what the listing didn't tell you. Overnight parking bans are spreading. Not at campgrounds, not on rural land, in cities, suburbs, rest stops that were completely legal 2 years ago. And the buyers getting destroyed aren't people who broke the rules. They're people who bought the wrong type of vehicle for the legal environment they're driving into. Because the law doesn't treat all vans the same. Stop there, because that sentence just changed how you should be shopping. And in about 5 minutes, I'm going to show you the one vehicle type that actually gets treated differently by law and why it's quietly outperforming everything else in this market right now. Here's how this plays out in real life. Same street, same night, 2 vans parked side by side. One gets a knock at 2 a.m., license check, move-along order, $350 citation. The other one? Nothing. Officer walks right past. Same neighborhood, same hour, completely different outcome. The difference wasn't luck, it wasn't stealth wrap or blackout curtains, it was registration type. And the buyer of the van that got knocked had no idea that distinction existed when they spent $55,000. That's the real problem in this market, and we're gonna fix it. Here's the rule every smart buyer follows in 2026. Buy for legal durability, not lifestyle aesthetics. Before you evaluate a kitchen layout or a solar system, you evaluate the vehicle's legal profile. How does it register? How does it read to law enforcement? What protections does it carry by default? Here's the insight most creators won't give you. A plain, unmarked cargo van is often safer from targeting than a fully branded custom build. Not because it's invisible, but because enforcement in most cities is complaint-driven. Neighbors call what they recognize. A van that reads as a plumber's vehicle triggers fewer calls than one with a rooftop tent, solar array, and a lifestyle sticker on the rear window. But here's where buyers get this wrong. They think stealth means buying cheap. It doesn't. It means buying strategically. The wrong chassis in the wrong city gets towed regardless of how it looks, because the ordinance doesn't care about your build quality. It cares how the vehicle is registered, where it's parked, and whether you're legally classified as a vehicle dweller under local law. Smart buyers in 2026 ask 3 questions before they open a single listing. 1. Is this registered as an RV or a commercial vehicle? That determines which campground protections apply. 2. Does my target city run complaint-driven enforcement or active patrol? 3. Does this vehicle give me flexibility to move when the rules change, or does it lock me into one use case? Answer those 3 correctly, and you've already eliminated 80% of the buying mistakes we're about to cover. Let's go vehicle by vehicle, not by aesthetics, by legal durability, total ownership cost, and how each one performs when government pressure increases. Vehicle 1, Mercedes Sprinter 144, 2017 to 2020. Used price range $28,000 to $52,000. This is the van people stretch their budget for and then regret quietly when the first major repair hits. That's not a reason to avoid it, it's a reason to buy it correctly. Why smart buyers still choose it? The Sprinter is the most legally flexible van in this market. It registers as a cargo vehicle by default, which means in most U.S. cities it sidesteps RV-specific overnight ordinances entirely. In Europe, particularly Germany and the Netherlands, where urban enforcement is most aggressive, a Sprinter-based camper faces fewer restrictions than a purpose-built motorhome. The 144-inch wheelbase is the target, long enough for a real sleeping platform, short enough to park in standard city spaces. The 170-inch extended? Avoid it unless you're full-timing in rural areas. In cities, you will get cited for vehicle length before you ever get cited for dwelling. Reliability window, 2017 to 2020. Post-recall, the OM651 diesel is solid past 200,000 miles with proper maintenance. Go 2021 or newer and you're on a new 4-cylinder diesel that independent mechanics are still learning. Parts cost more, repair windows get longer, you pay for being too current. This is where Sprinter owners get trapped. Not the engine, not the build, the emissions system.
DEF and SCR system failures run $2,000 to $5,000, and when it fails, you don't negotiate, you don't wait for a better price. The van doesn't move until it's fixed. One pre-purchase inspection that includes an emission system diagnostic saves buyers $3,000 on average. That inspection costs $150. Do the math. Who should not buy it? Anyone without a $5,000 to $8,000 mechanical reserve sitting liquid. The Sprinter rewards buyers who can absorb a surprise repair without panic. Without that reserve, it becomes a trap inside 18 months, every time.
Vehicle 2. Ford Transit 148 High Roof, 2019 to 2022. Used price range is $22,000 to $41,000. Here's the direct comparison most creators avoid making. If you're choosing between a Sprinter and a Transit, and you're not full-timing off-grid in extreme conditions, the Transit is the financially smarter decision 80% of the time. That's not a popular take in van life content, it's a true one. The EcoBoost 3.5-liter V6 is more accessible to independent mechanics than any Sprinter diesel platform. Repair costs average 20 to 30% lower, parts availability is not even a conversation, and in U.S. cities, a Ford Transit reads as a work van to virtually every enforcement officer making a judgment call on whether to knock, which gives you a stronger stealth profile without doing anything extra. In Europe, Ford's UK manufacturing base means transit parts are abundant across the EU, and servicing outside major cities is practical in ways that finding a Sprinter specialist often isn't. Biggest hidden cost: timing chain. On high-mileage examples above 120,000 miles, budget $1,500 to $2,500 for inspection and potential replacement. This is the one mechanical item that separates a great transit buy from a four-figure surprise in year 2. Who should not buy it? Buyers planning serious off-road or high-altitude travel as a primary use case. The Transit is built for road life. Forest service roads will work, but the component stress compounds over time in ways that a purpose-built platform avoids. Vehicle 3. Ram ProMaster 159 High Roof, 2019 to 2021. Used price range is $16,000 to $31,000. The most underpriced entry point in the U.S. van market, and most buyers overlook it because of one misunderstood feature: front-wheel drive. In a cargo van, FWD is treated like a liability. It isn't. In urban environments, exactly where enforcement is increasing, FWD gives you a lower floor height than Sprinter or Transit RWD equivalents, more usable interior height on a shorter wheelbase. For buyers prioritizing city parking in a low visual profile, that's a real functional advantage at no extra cost. The ProMaster also carries zero brand signal. Nobody sees a ProMaster and thinks lifestyle build. In 2026, that anonymity is worth something. The contrarian case is the ProMaster depreciates faster than its competitors, which is precisely why it's a smart buy right now. You're entering at the bottom of the depreciation curve on a van with 100,000 plus miles of reliable service remaining, if you target the right production years. Biggest hidden cost: power steering rack on 2015 to 2018 models, known failure pattern. Replacement is $1,200 to $2,200. By 2019 or newer, and the risk drops significantly. 1 year selection decision separates a value buy from a recurring expense. Who should not buy it? European buyers. The ProMaster is Ducato origin, but US spec with Chrysler components. Those don't translate cleanly to European service networks. Buy the Ducato directly in the EU. Different parts chain, different mechanic familiarity, far more accessible support. Quick reality check. 3 things that get you flagged instantly, regardless of which van you buy. Visible solar panels and rooftop gear parked in residential zones. Staying more than one night in complaint-driven neighborhoods. Oversized vans that can't fit standard urban parking spaces. It doesn't matter how good your build is, those 3 signals trigger complaints. Complaints trigger enforcement. Enforcement triggers citations, or worse, a tow on a van you just paid $45,000 for.
Now back to the vehicles. Vehicle 4, Fiat Ducato or Peugeot Boxer, 2015 to 2021. European buyers, this is your vehicle. Used price range is €14,000 to €32,000. The Ducato platform underpins more European campervan conversions than any other base vehicle. That's not marketing, it's supply chain logic. The 2.3-liter multi-jet diesel is one of the most proven engines in European commercial vehicle history. Properly maintained examples regularly hit 300,000 kilometers. Independent mechanics across France, Spain, Italy, and Germany know this engine by memory. For European buyers, the Ducato is the path of least resistance mechanically, legally, and from an insurance standpoint. Biggest hidden cost: DPF, diesel particulate filter. In cities with low emission zones, an aging DPF becomes a recurring maintenance item. Budget €800 to €1,500 for a clean or replacement on any high-mileage example. And before you buy any pre-2018 diesel, check whether your target cities fall under current or upcoming LEZ restrictions. That check takes 20 minutes and can prevent you from buying a van you can't legally drive into the cities you're planning to live near. Who should not buy it? US-based buyers sourcing internationally. The regulatory complexity and mechanical support gap eliminate the cost advantage entirely. Vehicle 5, Class B motorhome, Winnebago Solis or leisure travel vans Unity, used. Used price range is $55,000 to $95,000. This is the vehicle I mentioned at the start, the one that gets treated differently by law, and this is why. A factory-built Class B motorhome is registered as an RV by the manufacturer, not retrofitted, not self-certified, factory classified. That registration qualifies it for RV-specific protections in campgrounds, state parks, and critically in jurisdictions where RV dwelling is treated under a completely different legal framework than vehicle dwelling. Here's the distinction costing buyers right now. Some cities that actively enforce against cargo van dwellers will not cite a registered RV because the ordinance language is written around vehicle type classification. A Winnebago Solis with manufacturer certification gets a different legal outcome than a $45,000 custom-build Sprinter, even if the Sprinter looks more capable, even if it cost more to build. The Solis on the ProMaster platform and the leisure travel vans Unity on the Transit are the two used Class B options with the strongest combination of reliability, resale value, and parts accessibility in this segment. Biggest hidden cost: RV dealership service rates. Factory integrated appliances, Truma heaters, shore power converters, water systems are serviced through RV networks, not independent mechanics. A repair of van builder DIYs for $400 runs $2,000 to $4,000 at an RV dealer. That service differential compounds every year of ownership. Who should not buy it? Buyers who need urban stealth. A branded Class B motorhome is the highest visibility option in this segment. The legal protection is real, but complaint-driven enforcement triggers before ordinance distinctions become relevant. Know which problem you're solving before you spend $75,000 solving the wrong one.
Here's what informed buyers verify before they sign anything. Mileage ceilings. European diesel vans, 180,000 kilometers without a full inspection is your risk threshold. Above that, compression test and emissions diagnostics are non-negotiable. U.S. gas fans, 100,000 miles without documented service history is where problems concentrate. Engine to avoid. The 2007 to 2013 Sprinter 3.0-liter V6 diesel. High-pressure fuel pump failures, injector problems, and a repair profile that regularly exceeds the vehicle's market value at high mileage. Attractive price on one of these? Check the repair history first. Always. Production years to target: Sprinter 2017 to 2020, Transit 2019 to 2022, ProMaster 2019 to 2021, Ducato 2015 to 2021 with DPF awareness on anything pre-2018. What service history actually means? A single-owner van with records from one shop is worth more than any negotiated discount. Ask specifically for transmission service records on any van above 80,000 miles. Transmission rebuilds on these platforms, $3,500 to $6,000. Not a post-purchase negotiation, a pre-purchase disqualifier. The conversion value trap. A $35,000 Sprinter with a $25,000 professional conversion is not a $60,000 asset. It's a $35,000 chassis with $25,000 of custom work that recovers almost nothing at resale. Price the chassis separately from the build every time. The build is a lifestyle expense. Buyers who forget this lose $15,000 to $20,000 the day they decide to sell. Here's the mistake costing buyers $10,000 to $20,000, and it's happening at scale because the legal environment is shifting faster than the market is pricing it in. Buyers are purchasing good vans, well-maintained vans, in cities that are 6 to 12 months away from active overnight enforcement going live. Los Angeles, Seattle, Denver, Amsterdam, Berlin all have enacted or significantly tightened vehicle dwelling ordinances in the last 36 months. Buyers who purchased before those shifts found themselves holding a van they couldn't use in the location they bought it for. The loss crystallizes at resale. A van you can't use where you live gets sold under pressure. Pressure sales mean below market pricing, sometimes $15,000 below on a $55,000 vehicle. The van didn't lose value, the assumption did. 2 steps to avoid it. Step 1. Research the overnight parking ordinance status of your primary city in your 2 backup cities before you evaluate a single vehicle. Step 2. Read city council meeting minutes. Enforcement expansions are proposed there before they become law. If a city is already in active discussion, price that legal risk into your decision before you sign. The van is almost never the mistake. The location assumption always is. This market doesn't punish bad vans, it punishes bad assumptions, and the most expensive assumption you can make right now is that the rules won't change after you buy. The buyers losing $20,000 in this market didn't cut corners, they didn't skip the inspection, they just assumed the city they chose would stay legal. It didn't. Smart buyers in 2026 aren't just buying a van, they're buying an exit plan. Flexibility to move, a registration type that holds up legally, a chassis that independent mechanics can service anywhere, a price point that doesn't require perfection to break even. Know the law before you know the specs. That's the sequence that keeps a $55,000 decision from becoming a $38,000 regret.